This Torah class is brought to you by TorahAnytime.com.
Okay, everybody, welcome back to the Lechtech Musar podcast. We continue with Pirkei Avos, Parak Aleph, Mishnah Dalid. Big Yisod, this especially before Kabbalah Torah Shavuos, very negei lamaisa. So let's begin. Yosi ben Ye'ezer ish tzreidav, Yosi ben Yechanan Yerushalayim kiblu mehem. So Yosi ben Ye'ezer and Yosi ben Yechanan Yerushalayim, they were talking about the chain that was given over from Moshe Ben to the Zekanim to Yeshua, etc. And now we're talking about these Tanoim. What did they receive? What is the Torah they impart? What did they say? Yosi ben Ye'ezer ish tzreidav omer, Yibeischa beis vad lachachamim. Your house should be a beis vad, which means a place to congregate for who? For Talmedai Chachamim. What does that mean? If he should be yois beis achsanis Torah yevshel shal yilmud mehem devrei chachma. The reason why it's important and there's a focus to have your house, your home, as a place where there's a kibbutz, where there's a place of gathering for Talmedai Chachamim, is because it's impossible that there's not going to be an effect. You're not going to be rubbed off by their inspiration, by their greatness, by their godless, by their tzidkus, by the Torah, and therefore make sure that your house is a place to accommodate those Talmedai Chachamim, to host those Talmedai Chachamim, in order that it should rub off ultimately on you. So there's an astounding piece from Rabbi Shlomo Volba that we must see over here. So Rabbi Shlomo asks a very simple, practical question, which is, how can the Mishnah mandate, almost require us, that our house should be a beis vad l'Talmedai Chachamim? I'll just read it out of here. There's one major problem with this explanation. How can every person studying Pirkei Avos put this Mishnah into practice, right? Why? How many meeting places do the rabbis need? Is there a practical way that we can all fulfill this dictum? So not everyone can host Talmedai Chachamim. Talmedai Chachamim typically have places they go, places they visit, whether it's Gevirim, philanthropists, people they want to forge relationships with, and not everyone is zeichet to have their house as a beis vad Talmedai Chachamim. So asks Rabbi Shlomo Volba a very simple, practical question: how can all of our houses be a beis vad Talmedai Chachamim? And he answers beautifully. He says there is a way. Even if realistically your house is not going to end up being that one in 1,000 residents that hosts the rabbis during their meetings, so you can't. It's not practical. They have their places, they have their spots, but nevertheless, says Rabbi Shlomo Volba, it should be the type of house in which the rabbis would agree to be hosted. That's the Yisai. That's what the Mishnah is imparting. It should be a house that they won't be embarrassed to enter, and that you won't be embarrassed should they enter. And he says, take a look at your house. Does the reading material conform to these standards? Are there any technological devices inside your home that you would make sure to hide before a rabbi visits? Is the clothing being worn inside consistent with the standards of the Torah? Is the music being played something that a rabbi might not want to hear? If you can walk around your house, take a look at the various items that can be found therein, and say with confidence that you are happy to host a meeting of rabbis, you have fulfilled the first dictum of Rabbi Yosi ben Ye'ezer. You have made your house into a beis vad, into a house that is suitable to be a meeting place for Talmedai Chachamim. That's how we can all achieve, that's how we can all fulfill this Mishnah of your house should be a beis vad Talmedai Chachamim. Moving on in the Mishnah, v'hevi mis'abik ba'afar raglehem. So not only should your house be a beis vad Chachamim, you should also be mis'abik ba'afar raglehem. So what does it mean, mis'abik? So, and what's afar raglehem? This is a very interesting thing. It's not enough that you should host them. It's not enough that you should cleave to them and want to house them and to accommodate them and to be their hosts. But there's a very funny lashon over here, mis'abik ba'afar raglehem. What's this extra, this emphasis? The afar raglehem doesn't sound so practical. What's the Mishnah communicating over here? What's Yosi ben Ye'ezer saying? So the pshat, based on Avos der B'nasan and the Meiri and Rabbeinu Mechaya, other Rishonim, they learn el tashev lifneim ala karka kederech hatalmid sheyishav lifnei rabbi v'tisafich ba'afar raglehem. Says, yeah, The pshat is taka like that, the way we thought, the way it says in the Mishnah. What does it mean, offer raglehem? It means that we should have a chashivos for the Talmedai Chachamim. We should have revere and awe of who they are. And even if we see them frequently, even if they stay in our houses often, and we already know who they are, and we're even maybe friendly with them, that happens sometimes. But we always have to have this outlook, we always have to have this chashivos, that we're ready to sit on the floor and always be mekabel what they have to say, to learn from their actions. And mis'abek ba'afar glem means literally, don't get too comfortable. Don't sit on the couch with them. Don't sit back in your recliner. Oh, here's Rosh Hashiva comes to the house all the time. No. Mis'abek ba'afar glem means sit on the floor. Always have that mindset, that perspective, whether you're actually sitting on the floor, on the afar, on the dirt itself. We don't have that anymore. We have nice floors these days, so it's not so practical. But the idea is the same. That our chukah, our desire to be receptive and vulnerable to what they have to teach, to what they are ready to impart, that has to be in a matziv of offer aglaim, that we're on the floor and we're looking up and we're ready to be mekabel from these gedolim. Says the Mishnah, Vaiter v'hevi shoyse batzama es devreim. So this is a very beautiful Mishnah, very beautiful, almost poetic words of Yossi ben Yezer. And he's saying, metaphorically, shoyse batzama, drink with thirst, devreim, their words. So what does that mean? So the pirush is that just like a person is thirsty, and if he's walking in a desert and all of a sudden he sees a river, he sees a cistern, and he wants to take water, and he starts taking as much as he can in because he knows he's not going to see another one for miles. The same thing should be with the words of Talmedai Chachamim. Drink it with thirst. Their words. Let them be sweet, let them satiate, and that's what Yossi ben Yezer is telling us over here. I'd like to add, we say in Tehillim, Ka'ayel Tarag alafike mayim, David Melech writes, like the ayal, like the deer, the ewe, is by the riverbanks of the water. Ka'ayel Tarag alafike mayim, Kenavshi sarag elech alekim. We use this metaphor, David Melech uses this lashon of being thirsty, of quenching thirst. That the same way the deer sits, he resides by the bank of the river, and he is nafshi tzama, his soul is thirsty, and he quenches his thirst by those beautiful riverbanks, those pictures that maybe you've seen in people's houses. So too, the same way, that same virtue, my soul should be tzama l'divrei Elokim, thirsty for the words of God. And that's what Yossi ben Yezer is telling us over here. There's a beautiful thing, a beautiful vart we can add from Reb Shlomo Wolbe over here. The inyan of shtia, of drinking it when we're thirsty and really wanting it and attaching it. So Reb Shlomo Wolbe brings down the following story. What's the difference? Why couldn't the Mishnah just say, Havi shoyse es devreim, just drink their words? What's this extra addition? We're emphasizing batzama, as if we're really thirsty. So obviously the Pashup Shad is that we should be thirsty for it. We should really want it. But he says something beautiful. He says the following story. He says, Rebruchim Levovitz, the renowned mashgiach of the Mir Yeshiva, was once asked a very important question. He said, how is it that there are people who know the entire Musaf Shemana Esrei, of Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur, they know the whole thing by heart, but they don't know the Vurachim that we recite every Monday and Thursday of Tachlin? It's about 10 pages in the Art Scroll Siddur. We don't know the whole thing, but some reason we know the entire Musaf, the entire thing, heart by heart, on Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur. What's the reason? So someone asked this to Rebruchim Levovitz, and he answered very yesodistic. He said the difference lies in the circumstances under which these tefillas are said. The Musaf is davened on one of the holiest days of the year, and therefore it is recited slowly and deliberately. No one is running anywhere, no one has other plans, and with one's life in the balance, there's a specific interest to daven this tefillah properly. In contrast, the Vehurachum, said twice weekly, is generally said quickly since people are rushing to get on with their daily agenda. When there's no appreciation for the tefillah, no matter how many times it is said, it will never become part of the person. And this is the yesod that we're saying over here, we should be thirsty. We should realize that this is it. The Torah is everything. The Torah is the Makar HaBracha. The Torah is what's going to satiate us in the truest, most profound, deepest way that we really want and really need. And just like Rebbe Rucham was saying, that a person, he can say V'hurachim so many times, every single day, twice a week, for his entire life, and he won't know it by heart. But when it comes to the Musaf Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur, he knows the entire thing by heart. Why? Because he's invested, because he knows his life is at stake. He's fully determined to get every single word with kavana, realizing that the Eibishter is right there. So that has an everlasting reishim, an everlasting impression. As opposed to Barachim, a person's on his way, he got to get back to his coffee, to his car, to work, move on. And that doesn't have an impression. So the same thing, it's not enough just to drink it, just to go through the motions, just to do it by rote, by routine. Batsama means realize that our entire life, we are sustained with the Torah Kedosha. We realize this, we have everything.
You've just experienced another Torah class brought to you by TorahAnytime.com.